Hey, this is Toni Moore, aka the Legal Diva, and I wanted to come in and first commend you on your mindset of wanting to have bigger, better, and more than you've ever seen or heard before. I want to commend you on the opportunities to allow yourself to expand yourself, your leadership, your business, your brand, your bank, and if you're a mom, your babies as well. Because this is what I know is that when you position yourself for bigger, better, and more, and you also give yourself permission to expand for bigger, better, and more, then you get a chance to soar. Soar for more than you've ever seen or heard before. Today, I'd like to talk to you about some smart legal moves that you should make while you're soaring for more in business. And when I say soaring for more, you're seeking out opportunities, you're seeking out ways to just accelerate your business, you're seeking out relationships to expand your brand. But I want you to always keep the legal in mind. I know, it's not sexy. People don't want to talk about legal, but this is what I know is that when we're casual with law, we become a casualty of it. When we're casual with our foundation. So the first thing I want you to do as you are soaring for more, you just make sure that that platform, that your foundations is sound, that your foundations is legally built with regards to whether you're in limited liability company, whether or not you have a joint venture partnership with a partnership agreement, or perhaps maybe you do have a corporation and you have board members and directors with regards to running the business, making decisions for the business, governing the business, or if you have what we call a nonprofit business model where you are not eating up the profits, that you've created something so that you can make change possible, not just for yourself but your community, maybe your congregation, maybe as a school, maybe as a church, maybe as a self-leadership opportunity and organization that's helping women or men or individuals who need assistance, right? That's a nonprofit business framework. Or if you're social enterprise, what I found is that a lot of people soar for bigger, better, and more. They go for more than they've ever seen or heard before. They're seeking out these opportunities. And then when someone asks for their business legal foundations, all they have is an EIN number and a bank account. That's not legal. That's one is not a legal foundation where you can write off any of your business deductions easily because of the things that you do in business. And it's not set legally with regards to if you're looking for donations. Now, sometimes people are looking for grants, but you have to look at the request for proposals because sometimes it's for business organizations, but oftentimes it's for nonprofits. But if the legal foundations aren't right, how do you build up and then take off when the foundations are not legal or they're leaky? No, I want you to understand and appreciate that your foundations matter. So one of the smartest legal things that you can ever do, the smartest legal moves you can ever make is to create sound legal foundations with regards to your business. Because if you're trying to make money, right, the IRS is like, you're already in business. So you might as well just set up the foundations so that guess what? You can use that as your platform. You can use it as your home. You can use it as your house. You can use it as the place in a space that you are generating your business and also building out your brand so that you can, obtain the bag. Everyone wants to secure the bag, but if it's not legally secure, then that's a liability waiting to happen that could end up in a lawsuit. No, no, no. I want you to set those business foundations in place today. And I want you, even if you're in business, maybe you didn't start right, but you can definitely get right so you can stay right. Okay. So that's one of the biggest things. The second thing I want you to do as you're soaring for more, I want you to do your own self-business analysis to see whether or not you have contracts in place. And I tell people all the time, okay, like your ideas are not protected without a contract. So if you are discussing your ideas, you're discussing your proposal, you're discussing your next dream list, you're discussing where you are going to position yourself in business or magazines or through entrepreneurship circles, or whether or not you're going to create an awesome and amazing book that's going to help people do X, Y, Z. I want you to have a non-disclosure agreement. And ideally, ideally, that non-disclosure agreement will also have something with regards to non-competition, because sometimes people are like, well, I didn't disclose your information, but they then turned around and used your information for their own business. And you can get mad. But if you don't have a legal contract, it's a problem. And if you don't have a legal contract that is allowing every person to understand and appreciate that, you mean business about your business, and you mean business about your brilliance, and you mean business about your ideas, and you mean business about your brand, then you definitely have to have a legal contract in place. So that's the non-disclosure agreement, and also ideally a non-competition agreement, which please don't get confused, because the FTC put a ban. That's their ban, but it's being challenged with regards to employment non-competition, because some employers get real raggedy in business and they think that they take ownership of someone's brilliance just because they work for them, and then they try to shut them down so that when they want to expand from employee to CEO to entrepreneur, then they want to hold them hostage. Yeah, that's what a non-competition has nothing to do with non-disclosure. But even when it comes to the competition, if you have a founding member of your LLC, or maybe you do have an incorporation and you have a founding visionary, you want to put something in place with regards to having something like an agreement in place that says that, hey, this is our information, this is our ideas. If someone is going to utilize them and economize them, then it still is 50-50 ownership, or 49% or 70-30, however it is, it needs to be put in writing. So you definitely need founding agreements in writing. You definitely need to look at your operating agreement, especially when you have more partners, because you need to have a conversation about, hey, if someone gets sick, or someone dies, or someone gets a divorce, or someone files for bankruptcy, what are their membership interests? And most people don't do that. Yeah, one of my recent litigations, it was two friends and they got into an argument, and then they realized that their partnership doesn't work, so they needed to have a business divorce. But when we looked at the agreements in place, they had just pulled it off the internet. They did not even have those conversations with regards to controlling membership, with regards to voting, with regards to termination and dissolving the business. And so they did not have that. And those are legal foundations that are required by law. Not only that, but a lot of people don't talk about partnership agreements. As a former divorce attorney, your girl was in divorce law for over 10 years. As a former divorce attorney, I look at business partnerships as business nuptials. You have to put things in place with regards to, okay, as a partner, this is what it's expected. This is your duties. This is your responsibilities. This is the economics. This is the money that you're supposed to make. This is the sweat equity. This is who we're going to hire and who we're going to fire. This is what we're going to do with intellectual property. This is what we're going to do with the money disbursements. We're always talking about distributions, but oftentimes, let's just keep it real, a lot of people get mad because of the conversations or lack thereof about money. Do you put away 50% of your earnings for at the end of the year, so that you all of the partners understand and appreciate that this is held for tax purposes? Or do y'all divvy it up and say, hey, come with me, everyone's getting a K1, this is your responsibility? I mean, at the end of the day, how do you set up your business, right? And if it's a corporation, then it's not even about 50-50 or a third or 20% or 30%. You definitely need to have a conversation, because the lack of conversations end up in lawsuits. And I want you to be better with that. Even when you're bringing in influencers, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to, if you're doing hair bundles and they're utilizing your hair products, what do you want them to do on social media? Put that in writing. Okay. If you have an influencer and they have user content, but you want them to drop your name 2, 3, 4 times a month, you need to put that in writing. If you are having someone with regards to independent contractor and you have them manage your business or come in and do teamwork or team modification or doing administrative work or reaching out to other big brands so that you can get sponsorship, you need to put that in writing. Because when it's not in writing, then it becomes a problem when there is a lack of communication or an expectation goes above and beyond what was initially communicated. No, when you're soaring for more in business, more money, more power, more success, more respect, then you also need to understand that you need to protect yourself in business. So as you're protecting yourself, you're understanding that you need those legal foundations and the contracts. Put it in writing. You got a ghostwriter for your book that's coming out. You need to put it in writing, whether or not they can shout out to the mountaintops that they're your ghostwriter, or shout out to the mountaintops that, that they're your client, or shout out to the mountaintops with regards to what they can do or what they should do or what they should not do with regards to the final product, right? If you are an illustrator, and you're helping people with regards to their children's books, you need to put it in writing. Now, we understand, we lawyers, we business lawyers, we understand what the rules of the game are, the rules of engagement with regards to, unless you sold it to them, then they have a license to use. But some people need to what? Put it in writing. And in putting it in writing, then that is also your evidence that a conversation was had and a discussion was made, negotiations was written down, and all of the parties involved, they meant business about their legal agreements, and they not only just put it in writing, but they understood the rules of engagement when working with you. See, oftentimes when people don't appreciate that they are covering their assets with contracts, then sometimes it's something where they're like, well, I told them, or there was a general understanding. That general understanding becomes an assumption. And you know that assumption, what that means, the acronym. So don't be that person. Don't get played in business. I want you to understand that you must make smart legal moves to protect yourself. And the best way to do it is to what? Put it in writing. The next best thing to do also is also understand and appreciate that you need to protect your intellectual property. When you don't protect your intellectual property, then anybody can utilize it. Now, you can get mad when people use it. You can get mad where, some people are literally control, alt, and deleting, robbing and duplicating your intellects, your intellectual experience, your knowledge, your smarts, your brilliance. But guess what? At the end of the day, they already know that if you're not meaning business about your business, then guess what? At the end of the day, they're going to control, alt, and delete. They're going to rob and duplicate. They're going to rob you of your lunch money. You're going to rob you of your legacy money because you didn't understand and appreciate that book. Since 2019, the rules have changed. They pretty much said if you want to declare ownership of your book, that's copyright ownership, you need to file the copyrights. File your copyright registration. You can go to copyright.gov to file your copyright registration, whether it's a song, whether it's a poem, whether it's your choreography, whether it's your photographs, you created it, you definitely need to take ownership of it. And it's an agreement, that it's a registration actually. And it's so many different types of registrations. You can even register up to 10 blogs, or you can register your unpublished book. Ideally, you will register your ownership of an unpublished book before you publish it out to the world. That way, if anyone is trying to rob and duplicate you, you can say, no, this was already out there. I didn't see your stuff, but you saw my stuff, and here's the beautiful thing with regards to copyright registration. That means that anyone who sees it, like if you are an illustrator and then they like it and they're like, well, or a photographer, you see those lawsuits, it's like, you should have set permissions, you should set parameters, you should set boundaries in business. But when you also take that added step with regards to just filing a copyright registration, letting the world know that you really took ownership and you really meant business about your brilliance, then guess what? They would need a license agreement, not just a license agreement for your name, your image, your likeness, and your voice, but they also need a license agreement to take derivatives of what you brought to the table. So I want you to understand that if you are creating something, you're a creator, and we have all been created by the Most High God to create, then you need to protect your creativity. Now, for the trademarks are different than copyrights. Trademarks is like your name, your logo, your tagline. It's a phrase that you got known for, catchphrase, so to speak, that you utilize to identify yourself in business. It can also be like if you are a performer or an entertainer or speaker, such as myself, it could also be your platform brand, right? The name of your conference, the name of your book series, all of that is protected under trademark law. All of it is protected under trademark law, especially when you file a registration by yourself or with a lawyer at uspto.gov, and you go through the process of registration. Now, I see a lot of people, they're using TM for their brand, and I'm like, TM means Toni Moore, but it also means you're trying to mark. When you're telling the world that you're trying to mark, you're letting them know that you don't have ownership of it. And you already know that some people they will game you. They will play you. They will, the same way they take your copyright, they will rob and duplicate you of your brilliant name of your conference, the brilliant name of your business brand, the brilliant name of your masterclass, the brilliant name of your church or your organization, your nonprofit, your podcast, your video series. But when you appreciate that you can take ownership because you are the manufacturer, you're the owner, you're the creator, and you also know that ownership gives you a lot more flexibility to have that legal protection. Because that chasing after the American dream, that's all about ownership. And because, in our world, our government really embraces entrepreneurs and individuals to chase after that American dream because, cream always rises. And those who rise, they get a chance to soar. And you soar in your business, you soar in your enterprises, you soar nationally, statewide, locally, nationally, internationally, right? But you don't want your name to be out there in a household brand name and you don't have your ownership of it. That's like fixing up a house or fixing up an apartment that someone else owns, and then someone else will take ownership of it. Now, I don't want you to be like the initial Burger King with regards to, they came up with Burger King, an awesome and amazing brand, but they did not take the next step so that they can decree and declare and show up as the owners of a brand. So the original Burger King folks, they in Chicago somewhere, okay? But then the national brand, someone took ownership of that. Don't do that to you. As you're soaring for bigger, better, and more, you got to start thinking bigger. You got to start thinking strategically and start thinking like an owner so that you can activate the brilliance inside of you so that you can, guess what? At the end of the day, get the results that you want, knowing that you are legally protected. So even with regards to some of my patent designers, it's protection of a product, right? A product that is new, it's novel, it's necessary, it's needed by the marketplace, and now we're thinking about mechanics. You're thinking about radiators. You're thinking about products that make business do better business, products that even help other business endeavors, maybe with a crank or a shank. Maybe you have a proprietary blend. I remember there was an African-American woman. She came up with an ingredient, proprietary blend that, helps people go from curly to straight without messing up their hair. And as a curly girl, that was awesome for me, but she also took ownership of it. Now, the thing about patents is that they only last for 20 years. I forgot to tell you, copyrights last for your lifetime plus 70, and trademarks last for the first 5 or 6 years, and then every 10 years after the 6th or the 5th year of registration, you have to re-register every 10 years with use. But with the patent, you're pretty much telling other people that you've created something. You've created a framework. You created a process. You created a way of doing things that if they want to use it, if they want to exploit it, if they want to incorporate it, then they need a license. And as long as you are the registered owner of it, then that's license and agreements where you don't have to be the sweat equity king and queen of strategy. No, you get a chance to create it one time and monetize it for a lifetime with your license and agreement. And that's whether it's a copyright, whether it's a trademark, whether it is a patent, because you're the owner. See, ownership gives you privileges. And I want you to start thinking not just as a creative, but as an owner of your creativity, so that now when you are making money in your speaking or making money in your book entrepreneurship or making money as a childcare boss, okay, or making money as a course development person, that you understand and appreciate that it's the 6 inches between your ears that is the richest the richest part of your business, and you turn that brilliance into an asset, and then also protect it. Okay, so that is so move number 3 that I want you to make, because we're talking about the smart legal moves that you should make while you're soaring in business. I also want you to think about having a strategic plan, a strategic financial plan. See, once upon a time, your girl used to work at Primerica Financial Services, and I've always spent a lot of times with estate planning. And what I do know is that a lot of brilliant men and women in business are not taking advantage of the fact that they need to set money aside for later, save some for later. When you're understanding and appreciate that you're strategically setting up your a financial plan, then you also have to look at, okay, do I have a retirement plan? What about the times that I worked in as an entrepreneur? What did I do with that 401k plan or the Roth IRA plan? Did you roll it over, or is it lottie-dottie for everybody? Because there are rules of engagement with regards to having your retirement plan with regards to your employer. But as a business owner, you can set up your own solo 401k. You could set up your own self-directed IRA where you can invest in other people's businesses and grow your money and also grow your equity. I want you to understand that when you are setting up your smart legal financial plan, okay, not only are you putting money in a stock or putting money in a mutual fund or setting up your retirement plan, but you're also thinking about, well, if I get sick, do I have a short-term disability? Because once upon a time, I used to do disability work, and that's how I learned more about opportunities that we are not doing for securing ourselves as employees, ourselves as business owners, ourselves as side hustlers. But I want you to understand that those are things that you need to do. Those are smart legal moves, because as you protect yourself and your healthiness, while you're healthy and you're well in your mind, your body, and your spirit, then you also have something in place where if you get sick, then there's some money. You heard Aflac, helps you with your money. If something happens mentally, then guess what? You need to definitely have a durable power of attorney so your family's not going all over the place. Not only that, but you do need to have a will in place with regards to if something happens, a strategic plan in place with regards to how your company will have the business continuity strategy in place so that it can continue. Because I'm going to tell you, if people owe you money, they're not going to contact your family members and be like, hey, I owe you money. But if you owe them money or you owe them some duties and responsibilities, but without a continuity plan, then you're setting your family up or for a lawsuit. When you're probably just down for 30 to 60 or 90 days, that's usually, statistically speaking, most people have a short-term disability for like up to 90 days. But even with the short term, sometimes it turns into long term. Do you have something in place with regards to it? Because as a business owner, I want you to treat yourself as the highest paid executive in your company. And when I used to do employee benefit plans, I saw what the executives got. They got the golden handcuffs. They're like, hey, you get this money set aside. We can do something with regards to giving you employee benefits. You can do it too. Oh, there's a retirement plan. You can do it too. They have self-directed equity plans. You can do it too. I just want you to understand and appreciate it's not always about playing small in business. I want you to allow yourself to be bigger than big. I want you to allow yourself to understand that when you are building out your business and you're definitely saying, oh, but this is for generational wealth, then you have to have a strategic financial plan with also a legal protection in place. Okay. And lastly, I want you to understand and appreciate, like, one of the fifth moves that you can and should make is to understand and appreciate that at the end of the day, how are you going to get out of the business? What is your strategic succession plan? Is it to sell it, or is it to align it with someone else that you're building up to take over your business and then you'll become an equity partner in the business? Or is it to assign it to your family trust so that a trustee can hire other people, because that can be done in your trust agreement, but they hire other people, or the trustee runs it, alternate trustee runs it, if you can't, but you have to have that strategic plan in place so that you can say, hey, at the end, on my 10th year or my 15th year, I'm going to sell it, or I'm going to merge it with another business, or I'm going to assign it over to my family trust so that they can eat from the profits. Those are conversations that we don't always have. We don't always think about law as a way, as also your joint venture partner, but I do know that law is not going anywhere. You can't erase law. You have to embrace it. And for me, when you make smart legal moves as you're soaring in business, understand and appreciate that you're seeking out every opportunity so that you can rise bigger, better, and more, seeking out opportunities and financing so that you can have more, be more, and do more. That I want you to appreciate these smart legal moves so that you can protect your SOAR. Smart legal moves so that you can protect your business. Smart legal moves so that you can protect your trademark and your copyright and your patents. I want you to make those smart legal moves so that you can even protect yourself, financially protect yourself with regards to the mutual funds and investments, financially protect yourself by setting up your own retirement plan, also legally protecting yourself by getting contracts in place for your possibility of a short-term disability or a long-term disability, legally protecting yourself by having a durable power of attorney so that if something should happen, age or an accident, or a sickness and disease that manifests at an older age, that you are protected, right? But I also want you to think beyond your first 2 years, beyond your first 3 years, beyond your first $1 million. I want you to set up your business so that you can sell it. I help people a lot with regards to buying other people's businesses. I help CEOs, women, with regards to buying out their partners. I help individuals with regards to when they are naming and claiming that they are creating generational wealth. They understand that that business is an asset that they can then assign over to their family trust, right? So I want you to have those smart legal moves with regards to setting up the foundations, covering your assets with contracts, securing your intellectual property so that no one will take derivatives without a licensing agreement, also legally protecting yourself financially and legally, and also setting up a strategic plan in place, a strategic succession plan, if you will, with regards to what's going to happen at the end when you're tired of hustling and tired of building and you want to sit back and you want to, enjoy that more, enjoy more and better, having and being and doing more without having to do so much work because now you have a strategic legal plan in place. So hopefully this was good information. If you need some assistance, this is Toni Moore, aka the Legal Diva, where we help individuals with regards to make smart legal moves in their life, in their business, even with their legacy and their leadership. So feel free to contact me at thelegaldeva.com. That's DEVA.com. Bye for now.